Very good. Very good evening. Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Request everyone to kindly settle down. We will be commencing the program shortly. It's my proud privilege to welcome everyone for the Civil Services Day event that we are organizing on behalf of the IAS Association. It's my honor to welcome revered Shri Daaji, Shri Kamlesh D. Patel, the president of the Shri Ramchandra Mission and founder of the Heartfulness Institute, to this event. I also take this opportunity to welcome senior officers and their spouses, respected Chief Secretary Shanti Kumari ma'am, respected DGP Mr. Anjani Kumar, respected Principal Chief Conservator of Forest Mr. Dobriyal. We have also invited senior officers of other central civil services. Welcome to all of them, all the spouses. I know that many core leadership team members of the Heartfulness Institute are here. Welcome to all of you as well. For those who do not know me, I'm Jayesh Ranjan. I'm the Principal Secretary for IT and Industries. And I'm also the Secretary of the IS Officers Association. For those who do not know this, the concept of commemorating 21st April as the Civil Services Day, this practice began in 2006. And the reason why this day was chosen, 21st April was chosen, was that in 1947, way back in 1947, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who was the Home Minister at that time, he addressed the probationers, the probationary batch of civil servants, IAS officers. At that time, the training used to happen in Delhi, in Metcalfe House. So that was the first time he articulated the very famous diktat of bureaucracy being the steel frame of our country. And of course, he laid down the vision of what the government of that day expects from the civil services, etc. Between then and now, we have traversed a long path. 75 years have gone by. And I can share a few personal anecdotes with you. When I joined the civil services approximately 30 years ago, that was, of course, the combined state of Andhra Pradesh. But within very few days or few weeks, I could notice how strong the reputation of the civil services is. Wherever I would go, people would start recollecting the great work done by predecessors, previous officers, and that too not of the immediate past. They would recall people who worked there 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And subsequently, we saw this at all times, the kind of reverence people hold civil servants. In fact, I am not originally from Andhra Pradesh or Telangana. I'm from UP. And when I contrast this to how civil servants are perceived in Uttar Pradesh, I really feel blessed that we are in this great state, earlier in the erstwhile state of Andhra Pradesh, and now in this state of Telangana. And those of us who have been working in Telangana for the last approximately 9 years, we know that the civil services have played a stellar role in translating the vision of our political leadership, Honorable Chief Minister, his cabinet ministers, into action. And today, for the contribution, the immense contribution that all of us have made, Telangana is seen as a high-performing state, a role model state in all respects. So we would like to maintain this tradition. I know that earlier office bearers of the association also have commemorated the Civil Services Day on this day on many occasions. There has been a break of some years, but now onwards, we would like to observe this day in the right spirit. I'm also very, very thankful that senior police officers, senior forest officers, other central civil services officers have also participated in this occasion, on this occasion. And that is again something which is so wonderful, because when we start our probation in the academy at Mussoorie, everyone is together. And a very important signal that is given that way is the camaraderie of the service and how we need to work together and look after each other. So we would like this tradition to be maintained. Very grateful to all of you. As we know, we have chosen to celebrate the Civil Services Day in a very befitting way, in a different way. And hopefully this will become the trend for years to come. We have decided to invite a person whose life itself is an inspiration for many, many of us, an inspiration for humanity. Shri Kamlesh D. Patel, who is affectionately called as Daaji. And as I mentioned, he is the president of Sri Ramchandra Mission and the founder of the Heartfulness Institute. Of course, one advantage that we have is that his spiritual home, Kanha, is in close proximity to where we are, and therefore it is always very easy to get. But regardless of that, even if he were 1,000 kilometers away, we would have made efforts to get him and bless us with his insights, with his wisdoms, etc. Many people may not know this. They may have seen him as a spiritual leader in India, but revered Daaji spent his early career in the United States. He was a working professional there in the pharmacy sector, but he felt his spiritual calling to be so strong that he gave up his life in the US, his career in the US, chose to come back. And some of you would be aware about the Sri Ramchandra Mission. It is headquartered in Shahjahanpur. They have espoused a very important philosophy called the Sahaj Marg. And revered Daaji worked with the founder of Sri Ramchandra of the mission, was groomed and nurtured by him. And today, in that very, very impressive succession, the lineage of succession, the current spiritual head is Daaji. He is also an author of best-selling books. I think the screen has been put away. The books that he has written, some of them are, of course, on display outside. So when you complete this engagement and are walking outside, please do spend some time at looking at the literature of the mission. The best-selling books are The Heartfulness Way, Designing Destiny, and The Wisdom Bridge. And of course, his lectures are very, very popular. His speeches, in fact, very recently, I happened to listen to him. He spoke on the 18th Sustainable Development Goal. And he spoke about, again, a very important concept. I urge all of you to look up his videos on the portal of the Heartfulness Institute or on YouTube. He spoke about what is called thought pollution. So we are very grateful that Revered Daaji has consented to be here. Before the program today is like this. In a few minutes from now, we'll be inviting Daaji to take his seat on the stage and address us. Before that, there'll be brief addresses by the heads of the 3 All India services in Hyderabad, respected Chief Secretary Ma'am, DGP Sir, and PCCF Sir. And we all know, and we should also rejoice in this fact, that Revered Daaji was honored with the Padma Bhushan, the third highest civilian award last month. And we will also be, on behalf of all the officers present here, we'll also be felicitating him. And before all that happens, there'll be a short video about the institute that we will see, post which few introductory speeches by dignitaries, and then today's talk by Revered Daaji, which will be on the topic of the vision that I have for India in 2047. Thank you very much. May we have play the video. Just 20 seconds. I forgot to mention that today's event is also being podcast in all the districts. So all the district officers, divisional officers, field officers who are watching this from all the 33 districts of Hyderabad. Greetings to all of you also, and please stay on till the end of this ceremony. Thank you very much. Let's have the video, please.
Kamlesh T. Patel, affectionately known as Daaji, Heartfulness Guide and President of the Sri Ramchandra Mission, is guiding a worldwide movement to make meditation training available to everyone free of cost. With the help of 15,000 volunteer heartfulness trainers spread across 160 countries, Daaji has transformed many lives. In his books and talks, he shares deep insights into successfully integrating one's material and spiritual lives. Daaji is also guiding volunteers to conduct research and nurture innovation in the fields of ecology, agriculture, medicine, education, wellness, and the arts. Among the many initiatives he has pioneered are the creation of a model community and one of the world's largest meditation spaces at Kanha Shanti Vanam near Hyderabad in India. An initiative to plant 30 million native and endemic trees across India by 2025. A free app to provide online meditation with a trainer 24/7. Training for grassroots social workers in best practices in the fields of health, agriculture, and wellness. Creating awareness about Ayurveda, yoga, and meditation and their role in managing common ailments like hypertension, diabetes, cardiac problems, and more. Daaji's contribution to society has been recognized with the Padma Bhushan, one of the highest civilian honors in India.
On behalf of Sri Ramchandra Mission, it is my privilege to receive this award. We remain grateful to all those who had made the selection, and I'm also grateful to all the volunteers. We're looking forward to uplifting the consciousness, changing the bent of mind, bent of thinking, and attitude of human beings so that we can coexist. We form a united humanity.
Thank you. Thank you. I would now request PCCF, Shri Rakesh Mohan Dobriyal ji, to convey his greetings on the occasion of Civil Services Day.
Thank you, Jayesh. A very good evening to all of you. The chief guest of today's evening, Sri Kamlesh T. Patel, the Padma Bhushan, popularly known as Daaji. I am really very happy to have him with us today. The Chief Secretary of our state, Ma'am Srimati Shanti Kumari Madam. Not only Chief Secretary, I have been working with her for quite some time. She is our Secretary of Forest Department also. DG of the state, Sri Anjani Kumar. All my colleagues, all senior colleagues here. Most welcome to all of you. Actually, I feel very privileged today to be one amongst all of you here. And this Civil Services Day reminds us of our role, duties. And I remember way back when I joined in Telangana, and the way we were working in the districts. And I remember those memories when I was working in Warangal, and Sri Ajay Misra ji were our district collector. And almost every weekend, the kind of get together we used to have in the districts, all police, forest, and as all fraternity. And I have put in roughly 35 years of service in the state. But I hardly find any day in the state that where we don't feel that we are so closely gelling with each other, supporting each other. Whenever we require the kind of hand holding that we need, we are getting from all our colleagues in the state. And this is what I found actually a marked difference from working in the state and elsewhere, the feedback I got. So I am really feel proud to work in the state of either the combined Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, where the gelling together, the working together, the feeling of togetherness was always been there. I have worked with many of the senior officers who are actually sitting across with me, like Rajesh Tiwari Saab, Biswal Saab, M.G. Gopal Saab. Many of them actually I worked together in various departments like Ashutosh Misra. And the kind of, the guidance and the kind of love and affection that I got from them, actually it has helped in shaping my destiny also. Now, being in the head of the department, I never felt so much of challenges and pressure which I have really got in past 1 year. See, for a civil servant, I feel now the challenges are much more, difficult. I don't know the role in the changing scenario. How do you really work in the changing scenario? Probably that is before all of us to redefine it and then surge ahead. I always look forward that we'll have such kind of gathering wherein we can exchange ideas. And such kind of gathering always gives me that inner strength to really better perform in my assignments and duties. I really thank the IS Association, more so Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, the Principal Secretary ITC, for giving me this opportunity. And I am so happy to be one among all of you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. I now request our Director General of Police, Shri Anjani Kumar ji, to convey his message.
Most respected Daaji, Chief Secretary ma'am, Dobriyal sir, all my seniors, my colleague officers, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to thank Jayesh ji and CS ma'am for this initiative to have a get-together on this occasion of Civil Services Day. This is a family which we all joined many, many years ago, and we have seen the journey, the ups and the downs, the challenges over 3 decades. And when Jayesh ji asked me that I have to speak for a couple of minutes, before Daaji, I should not take much time, but a famous line of a poet came to my mind, which I think sums up the journey of a bureaucrat, a journey of particularly police department, because in the last 30-35 years, the phases of various kind of challenges which our fraternity has seen can be summed up by this poet called Ramdhari Singh Dinkar, who in one of his book has written about Bhukhand Vijeta Kaun Hua, who is the conqueror of the world. Atulit Yashkreta Kaun Hua, who got the unparalleled fame. Navadharma Praneta Kaun Hua, who established a new order. जिसने न कभी आराम किया, विघ्नों में रहकर काम किया. The one who never rested, but who always worked among difficulties. I think this sums up the journey of Indian civil servant and the social dynamics getting reflected in various forms, the economic development or the lack of it, the political issues everything has bearing on the functioning of a civil servant, and it definitely takes a big toll. I also get reminded of a single line from a famous Renaissance philosopher, again that also suits us very aptly, when Voltaire mentions that every man is guilty of the good which he could not or he did not do. I would say that also applies to a civil servant very well. The good which we either did not do or could not do, we are guilty of it. With this, I would not take much time, and I thank CS ma'am for this organization and look forward to speech from Daaji. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Anjani ji. I would now request respected Chief Secretary ma'am, Shanti Kumari Garu, to deliver her opening address.
Dear Daaji and dear colleagues, very good evening to all of you and welcome to this event. I am very happy that we are all meeting after a long time, but on a very befitting occasion. And I am also fond of saying this, that we can never do anything without speeches, but I will now make it very short. And then there is also this danger that when very senior officers gather, we love to go back to our initial days. We always recall that when I was sub-collector or when I joined service, this, that and all. But now I see so many officers who are much more senior to me, so I am tempted to recall some of my experiences and then share certain learnings with those who are very young and listening to this through the podcast. One thing that really stands out is that when we started our journey, it really felt like a family. We could walk into any officer's office or any senior officer's office or home, not only get guidance, but when we are in trouble, it mattered a lot. There was a lot of support, help forthcoming, guidance forthcoming, and many officers stood by those who are in some kind of a challenge because of inexperience and other things. In this 30 and odd years journey, I find that this is one advantage, or this is one warmth and affection that is fast depleting. And instead of standing by each other and standing as a family, we are trying to harm each other much more openly or indirectly. I think if we can correct this enemy within, I think that would go a long way. And we all understand that times are becoming much more challenging. So it's more important that, as my previous speaker explained through his beautiful quotations, that times are becoming more challenging. So we have to find a way of surviving without losing our sanity, without losing our integrity, and staying above this. So we really need each other's support in these times, and I hope we understand this and respond to this, to this deficiency that is slowly creeping into our service. I would like to thank the Association President, Srimati Rani Kubudini Madam, and Secretary Jayesh Ranjan, and all the senior officers who attended this gathering. Without this, it would not have been this enjoyable. And with so many of you, we reconnected after a long time. So I would like to particularly thank organizers and all of you for coming together, and thank you for making this event a very warm and enjoyable occasion. Thank you.
Request ma'am to stay back on the stage for a couple of minutes. Request Rani ma'am, DGP sir and PCCFs to kindly join. As I mentioned, Revered Daaji has received the third highest civilian honor, Padma Bhushan, and we would also like to felicitate him on this occasion, after which we would request Revered Daaji to deliver his address. Please come up. Musharraf, please help us with the gift. आप सामने आइए, फोटोग्राफी. We will now begin the Civil Services Day lecture on the topic of India, My Vision at 2047.
All the senior members, my pranams to you. The current CS, Shanti Kumari, my pranams as well. IAS President Association, Srimati Rani ji, thank you for inviting. Anjani Kumar ji, DG sir, PCCF sir, thank you. And my dear friends, and all those who are attending this session over YouTube or podcast, thank you for joining. Quite honored to have myself here. I wouldn't have dreamt of coming here, but thanks to some of you who took the lead. I have never understood the sacrifices, the pain that you all take in serving the nation, until I recently met up one officer over the phone. I was being invited to attend a meeting of 3 ministers and 2 officers from PMO's request. The officer who was trying to arrange the meeting at the last minute was so busy. He called us at 12:30. Luckily, I don't sleep much at night, so it was good to attend the call. But I kept asking him, what are you doing at 12:30? He said, sir, I've been given a job of connecting these many people. I said, you could have called me in the morning. He said, no, PM wants the answer now. I said, even PM is not sleeping. I said, what a life you guys have. Again in the morning at 5:30 he calls. Your room number is so-and-so where you will be meeting these ministers. The gate number through which you'll be entering is such and such a gate number. And so many other minutest of details were given to me. So I wondered, do you guys ever sleep? And I have seen also, I have interacted with almost 80% of officers here. Somehow, luck brought us together, even Shanti Madam and Rani ji and Anjani ji and Sir PCCF and many, Visalakshi and her husband who is unfortunately not here. And many names I don't recollect, but many faces I know. We have met up in the ashram or at some other occasions. They are so hardworking. not only coming together can be a beginning, but working together is a big progress. And staying together while working together is even a big leap in the front. I was quite disheartened when Shanti Madam mentioned, may there be harmony, let there not be push and pulls amongst the officers. It sums up a lot. This request coming from her means it's not all that great in the Greece. Something has to be done. We have crossed almost 75 years since our independence. And what you are striving to envision 2047, 100 years, 1 century. When we see the world, right after the World War II, only countries that really made progress in less than a decade were Germany and Japan. Less than a decade. From ashes to magnificent progress. With every materialistic progress, there is always a sacrifice at the moral foundation. Look at America today, the pinnacle of materialism, divorce rates, polarization of the entire society as its peak. My house was robbed just 2 weeks back because none of us were at home and no one was hurt. Every Indian family is being watched, targeted by many culprits. They need to support their drug habits, unnecessary things that goes on there. So at the pinnacle of material growth, we also sacrifice morality, the ethics of our life, the foundation of our life. Anjani sir mentioned about who can sleep. A moral man cannot sleep unless he completes his work. He becomes famous even after 2000 years. People remember such individuals. You were mentioning that so-and-so XCS. You still remember. We remember our teachers also who taught us in our kindergarten and nursery. Why? Because of their humanity. The human to humane to divine is the evolution. Game of evolution is very simple. We are all born as with this body of multiple organs as animals. Then we are educated, cultured, civilized to what we are today, perhaps human to a certain extent. What makes us human and not animal is a different ballgame altogether. You can see the way people eat. Easiest way to find out whether this person is human or humane, watch that person how he consumes food, or how he converses, or how he walks or talks. It's very easy to pick up such individuals. And to move from humane to divine level is altogether a different matter. Our topic today is all about what do you see? In order to see the future, we have to contemplate, revisit the mistakes that we have made so far, how to correct them. Are you willing to correct them? Again, quoting Anjani sir, somebody did a great work and you feel guilty about it because you missed it out. That's a tragedy. You could have done it, but somebody else did it. Nature always waits for such individuals who grabs the opportunity of serving and transcending others. It's not competition. It's only transcendence. In spirituality, we talk of transcending the mind, transcending the consciousness. It's not that you're leaving behind. You're continuing with it. When we transcend religion and enter into spirituality, it is not that you have become irreligious, but now you have gone into a higher dimension. When we move from human to humane to divine, all these three remains united. What is the difference between human, humane, and divine? When we talk of Yoga Sastras, the first lower three chakras we call Muladhara, Swadhisthana, and Manipur, below the navel. They are also present amongst animals. We also share the same chakras. What makes us human is this heart chakra, where compassion arises in our hearts, sympathy arises, kindness, empathy, and above all, love. This is the function of the humane heart. What makes us divine is the chakra going beyond this Agya chakra and beyond Sahasra Dal Kamal. And that gives us a new character. It's not enough to love. Be prepared to sacrifice. What happens in passion, in love? You take the advantage of others for your pleasure. When we become divine and more compassionate, you sacrifice yourself for the joy of others. And that's what I think day in and day out, most of you are sacrificing your time. I have seen some of you working till 12 o'clock. I call home to some of your officers, spouses. Has he not come back home? No, CM has held him up there. I said, what a life you guys have. Again and again I see. Can there be a suitability of also? We have to respect time. How to make this time more efficient is the game we play in spirituality. Spirituality, the gift of spirituality, is number one thing that emerges in our heart, that flowers in our heart, is discriminating ability, viveka. What is right, what is good, what is cause, what is effect, what is beneficial, what is not so beneficial. When we meditate in the morning, often day's activities are scanned up, and you automatically feel what I should be doing and what I should not be doing. So you are able to save a lot of time. And if everyone can do it, we all save time. Then you don't have to be held up time and time again. But that requires a combined effort. One single person meditating will not help. Before we start any meeting, especially that's what I did while I was practicing pharmacy in New York City. Before we begin any meeting, I said, let's close our eyes, sit in silence for at least 3 minutes. Think over the agenda of the meeting, and then let's discuss after that. Then some of the people whom we invite for the meeting, they do not even know why they are there. They have no clue. Oh, they called me, so I am here. So the topic has to be given again before the meeting, that we are going to talk about this, we're going to discuss about this. Now you reflect and share what you have to share. Don't go on shooting the arrows in the dark. Lagi to lagi, nahi to deli gayi. So it's unnecessary things here. What I was coming to, if you're going to have the broader picture of what we're going to do, I cannot imagine what you guys are going to do. But if I were you, I would start with this. What are my weaknesses? Find my personal weaknesses, personal defects. Find where I have been going wrong in our mutual relationship at the administrative level, how I can correct and become more cooperative to each other. Do I have respect towards my juniors, honor towards my seniors? Do I trust them? Do I have that mutual trust? Do I have to explain myself for what I do again and again? So imagine husband asking wife, where were you? Why are you so late? Why such a question? Because the trust is lacking. When officers ask other officer, what the hell are you doing or what were you doing? It's a breaking of the trust. Above all these things, I think we can solve lots and lots of problems if and only if we develop a right way of communicating with each other. How we communicate with each other, with respect, with honor, and understand. When someone comes to office to consult, listen completely, with a lot of empathy, as if your son or daughter is talking to you, and then answer after having understood the problem. So this is a call of proper communication, see. When Vallabhbhai Patel talked first time in 1947, addressed, what did he say? At that time we were transitioning from British Raj to Indian civil services, real Indian service. Even they used to call Indian civil service. Patelji asked fundamental question, is it really civil? And the same question I can ask again, are we really serving in a civil manner? Will ever the perception of people will go away? Or, people have a different perception about civil servants. Some are great, some are not so great. The vision is only this, how they can respect and honor without being looked upon as with envious eyes. For more than 100 years, number one profession that stood up or stood out in United States was pharmacist. Second profession was mailman. Of course, now the mailmen are hardly around because of this modern email and other services. But pharmacist profession still stands taller today. The reason? Every little problem that you have, you go talk to a pharmacist. Health or family, all kinds of gossips also, you can download on him or her. They prevent you from going out to doctors also, because they can give something and save your troubles of going to a doctor. Many advices are given personal as well as professional. I would like to see that these civil servants of India be recognized with esteem and utmost honor. People should bow their head down and say, he is or she is so and so. She has done so much of work. India will remember even in 3000 or the year 4040. For that we need to have foresight. I have been begging these people here in many offices across various states. If you come to Kanha, you cannot resist and say, I wish I had some land where I can give to these people to develop it. They have been doing enormous work. In Madhya Pradesh especially, we have at least 5 projects going on, no less than 3,000 acres of proliferating multi-species of trees, shrubs, medicinal plants. I wish every little town, every little forest is not just eucalyptus or some useless tree, but filled with multi-species, not just monospecies. It should be thriving forests. I wonder at times, how did the name forest come? For rest. A place where you can rest in peace. I don't mean the death. Where you can sleep well, you can meditate well, you can spend your peaceful hours there. And forest officer, who is resting all the time perhaps, no? In the forest. I have seen many forests here also in Telangana, thanks to some of these officers who took me around. What you find is, makes you sad, makes you cry. What is this forest? You can't call it a forest. Human intervention is required. James Allen, a great philosopher from Scotland, I suppose, he analyzed one fundamental thing. Okay, why do you feel sad? Why do you feel happy? You feel happy because whatever you planned for is in your favor. And when it doesn't go in your favor, you become sad. Very simple. Now, when we analyze further, how did it become favorable? Then you can see, I planned it well, I thought out the process very well before executing it. And before executing that, your thought process, what was that was going on in your mind besides the thought? It was in your heart, your intentions were playing out. So there is a chain reaction. If your intentions are good, your thoughts will take shape accordingly. You will take actions accordingly. The results will also speak accordingly. Your inaction, as Anjani Saab mentioned, inaction produces the greatest amount of guilt. For example, my mother recently passed away on 7th March. And when I think of things I could have done, I should have done, now I can't. She is no more. The consequences of inactions can be very painful. If I had studied well, this would have been the case, but I did not study inaction. Gita, Bhagavad Gita talks about karma and its actions. Karma and karma phalas. Very easy to understand. But we don't understand our karma and our karmic phalas, fruit of our inactions. They are more dangerous than the karma itself. So we have to become proactive officers. How all the time, never resting. Of course, you guys are never resting anyway, but become productive in a wiser way, becoming effective in a wiser way. See, before beginning a day, sit quietly for a few minutes, meditate over today's activity and see what you can filter and what you can execute. Having executed, later on analyze, could I have improved it? Then next time when similar situation arises, you will surpass your previous decisions. So we have to be proactive with our own self. I just cannot allow the forest to be based on just the nature. Seeds will grow everywhere. It will become a forest. But that is also not happening in the forest. We are chopping them. We are not allowing them to grow also, even in a haphazard way. Even haphazard forest would look better. A gardener, he plants things. That's why we need human intervention in making forests a real forest. Just as seeds thrown without any plants becomes a forest. But a gardener, he knows where to plant, what to plant, in which season to plant, what to add, what not to add, and it becomes a beautiful garden. Meditation and spiritual practices helps us arrange our thoughts like the gardener arranges his seeds. We can create our beautiful garden in our life. It can become harmonious, lovely to look at. So when we reflect back, instead of waiting for life to end or your job to end, daily we must reflect. Did I do it right? Could I have done it better? That's all, 2 questions. In short, how can I lead my life in a guilt-free fashion? Not allowing the other person to steal my work. And second thing, never allow this inaction to set in. I think with that we can fulfill any vision and not wait for 2047, 1 century to come. We can finish it in just 2 days. Ranjanji said, he mentioned about civil servants as the backbone of the country. I would add, it's not only the backbone, but it's the heart itself. Without this, nothing can happen. The entire nation will collapse. What is happening in Pakistan? Precisely this. Inequality among the forces and the civil servants. They are there for namesake, serving themselves. Here we have a different scenario. We sacrifice for others, not only our personal resources, but our personal time, personal health also. Headache or fever, you are still going to the office. I was told one officer, he had COVID. CM called him, he still went with fever. So there are many great officers, and I'm sure there is no dearth of it on this earth, especially in our India. My request to you all is very simple. Close your eyes, meditate, reflect before and after. Morning meditation, evening meditation, and that's all. Just 5-10 minutes. Reflecting on our action solves a lot of problems. And also helps us prevent problems. It's good to vaccinate before the problem arises. Meditation helps us because when you scan your activities, you are able to deflect what is not to be done. So with all this, I will prayerfully request, please contemplate your actions, your intentions, and see how we can serve our country in a better way. See. We are entering into a complex and more complex lifestyle. And as there is more and more complexities, they arise. It creates more problems. Any change makes us unsettled. If you are, as a civil servant, if you are transferred from one place to another place without even having any idea where you will be going, or even the news that you didn't have that you'll be transferred, what happens to you at that time? Change creates resistance. Every human being. I have a fight with my wife, at least whenever we used to sleep together. Is it to stop the talk? Anyway, I had a habit of sleeping on her left at our house. Sometimes we go to hotel during the travels. She would insist on sleeping the left side because the bathroom is on the left side. If I don't, she would fight with me. I said, can't you adjust with little change? Just sleeping either right or left, how's such a big deal with you? So we are not able to even accustomed to making small change in life. This is just sleeping in the bed like that, see. Imagine when you have to change your mindset, your habits, your attitudes, the way you converse. And this can happen only through yoga and meditation. So today, if you all permit, can we go through this session of meditation for a few minutes? Okay. It's very simple, very, very simple. I'll first help you through relaxation, and then for a few minutes we will enter into meditation.
Requesting everyone to kindly check their mobiles and switch it off, please.
Gently keep your eyes closed. Imagine that the healing energy from Mother Earth is oozing into your system via feet. As it moves up through your ankles and lower legs, it relaxes our body. Permit this energy to move in your calf muscles and your knees. Help them relax. Permit this energy from Mother Earth to ascend up into your thighs and your hip area. Help them relax. Now your lower and upper back. Feel the relaxation there. Permit this energy to move in front, your abdominal area, stomach area and chest. Help them relax. Allow this energy to move in your shoulders, helping shoulders to become lighter and stress-free, almost becoming like liquid. Permit this energy to descend in your arms, your biceps, your triceps, and your elbow. Your forearms, wrist and palms and fingers. Now your neck muscles. Let this energy from Mother Earth enter your jaws. Drop the jaw if you have to. Let the tongue in the mouth suspend. Help them relax. Now your facial muscles, including your lips, your nose, your eyelids and eyebrows, earlobes, forehead, top of your head. You may scan your system from top to toe. Now we are ready to begin meditation. Kindly pay attention towards your heart. Almost 3 fingers below your left nipple. And suggest to yourself that the divine presence is already there in my heart in the form of light that is attracting my attention inward. We have to suppose that the source of the divine is already there in my heart in the form of light, which is attracting my attention inward. So we maintain this thought. If other thoughts do arise, let them. Just remind yourself that I'm meditating on divine light. Once the meditation is over, I'll announce that's all. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to interact and see where we can go from there. Whatever.
Revered Daaji has agreed to take questions for about 10 to 15 minutes. So please, mic is available. Please let us know. Please share your observations, thoughts. Mrs. Ravi Kanthir. ఇటువైపు తీసుకోరండి.
My question is, Daaji, that while doing meditation, my mind was running from one end to another end, and I was finding difficult to concentrate.
How do you feel now after the meditation?
I feel very relaxed and happy.
That's it. My Guruji used to say, during meditation, you'll have storm of thoughts actually, more than normal moments. Normal moments, you may not get as many thoughts. Did you ever get so many thoughts before?
No, not at all.
So, in meditation, sometimes they eject out from our subconscious and they come so that we are freed from these complex thoughts that arises, or they are stored in our heart or mind or in our consciousness. Our system, consciousness especially, wants to remain free from all kinds of things. So it simply ejects it during meditation. So gently we don't have to fight with the thoughts, otherwise they gain energy from us and remains in a circular fashion, one leading to another. But be a witness to it and again bring back your attention towards the heart. So daily practice will help you, and we have trainers who can personally assist you.
Okay.
Just as when you go to a gym, if you have a trainer and you do the gym activity, there's a big difference.
Yeah, it is.
So like that, you could take a help of a trainer and see how that trainer can help you to meditate better.
Okay. Thank you, Daaji. Thank you.
And these are all for free, eh?
Okay.
When we think of the God in the daily meditation, like I was doing Hanuman Chalisa now, but I just could not focus. Do you think that will help?
If
Think
you're,
of some God or
yeah, Madam is saying that she was doing Hanuman Chalisa, and then what happened?
I kept on repeating.
Acha.
Able to close my eyes.
So meditation, let's call it dhyan instead of meditation. Meditation is about thinking repeatedly on one object. God is not an object, He is a subject. That's one thing, so you can't think about it. Second thing, when we when we do dhyan, when you use this word, dhyan is totally different from meditation. Dhyana means to transcend the mind itself, going beyond the mind. I'd like to explain you through a little story also on that. When we are reciting japa or chalisa or some sort of mantra, our mind is busy. So there cannot be meditation, there cannot be dhyan. You are too busy. Right? It's like you call your husband or your husband calls you. Generally, ladies have the freedom to talk a lot. And poor fellow will keep on listening and then hang the phone. See, ये बोले ही जा रही है, सुनती ही नहीं है. So you are, in a way, praying to God, praying, Chalisa, 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 Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. Poor God is trying to communicate, but you are too busy. So that's the main problem, see. About the mind. What becomes of the mind when we transcend it? When we evolve from the mind, what do we become from? There are 4 things in our Sukshma Sharir. We have grosser body, Sthul Sharir. We have causal body called Atman, because of which we exist. In between these 2, there is a subtle body or Sukshma Sharir. 4 in nature: Manas, Buddhi, Ahankar, Chit. Manas, let's talk of Manas because that's what we used in meditation. Manas means mind. Mind means to think. When we transcend the mind, we transcend thinking. What becomes of us when we transcend thinking? We feel. When you talk of salt, when you talk of sweet, just by saying salt, does your mouth become salty? Talking of sweet, your mouth doesn't become sweet. Talking of God or Hanumanji, you don't imbibe those qualities either. You have to feel the presence. And that's why we meditate in silence. Women have the liberty. Rather, God has gifted them with this special faculty of feeling. Man generally lacks that. It doesn't mean that they have lesser feeling. They also have. But women, they have on a higher pedestal as far as feelings are concerned. And most of our man folks can agree with me when I say when you have problems at office or in business, you can brood over it for months together, weeks together. You come home, your mother or wife or sister complain, what is wrong with you? You have come walking around like this for the last few months. What's wrong with you? And by the time you open yourself and say, this is the problem, even before you finish the problem, they'll come up with the answer. How do they do that? For which we spend months or weeks together. They don't think. Women don't think, thank God. They jump to feeling and give you the answer, solution. We don't need answers, we need solutions. Next, please, next question. Sir.
You have started that energy is flowing from earth to, from downwards to upwards. Everything is over and you finally concentrated on heart and light is flowing to heart. At that stage, I was continuing to think only that light is flowing to heart, light is flowing to heart. And this was continuing till such time you have obstructed saying something. Then I thought, why should I come out of this one? And I waited like that. I don't want to come out. Actually, even now also. Why? The reason.
Congratulations, sir. You have found the path. Walk on it. Don't let this feeling go away. Meditate more and more. Just 20 minutes morning, 20 minutes evening is sufficient. You will make a big headway into it. And take a help of a trainer, you will make much advancement with this.
Is it necessary to have a trainer?
Well, when you go to a classroom...
No, first time I am doing this.
Sir,
dhyana.
that's what I am trying to answer you. When you send your son to a college and there is no professor in the classroom, what will he do? We need some help. If you need something for physics and chemistry, this subject of spirituality is so vast and so subtle. These trainers don't explain you anything. They don't talk. but they meditate with you and help you go through various levels of consciousness. There is a zero conversation, so there is no preaching involved also, because they are abilized to transmit what we call yogic transmission that nourishes the soul.
The point is here, you were saying about the energy is moving, introductory remarks. That is required, I think. Is it necessary? Without that, I can straight away go?
Without that also, you can straight away go into heart and meditate. It is true.
No, I feel that your initiation may be essentially required to go into the heart.
Yes, sir. You need 3 sessions, that is what we call initiation or diksha into the system. And that's why we need the trainer.
Okay. Without trainer, it's not possible then.
No, sir.
Okay, single day training you have given to us. How we'll get the other trainers in future?
Well, they're everywhere. We have 15,000 trainers world across. I can send you even tomorrow to your office or your home and have you started.
I am a retired man.
Or you can come to our ashram and be initiated there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And where it is really, really impossible, for example, countries like Iran, where you can't meditate, or countries like Africa, which are so remote, we have this app, and through this app they connect with the preceptor and meditate at a distance. Yes, ma'am.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaskaram, ma.
I am Mrs. Sharma. I always follow 4 principles in my life, Swamiji. That is, accept people as they are, judge less and love more, don't underestimate anyone, don't take anyone for granted. Am I following the right path, Swamiji?
Of course. When
Something?
we say accept, do you have any other choice?
That means I should not try to reform anyone?
No, it's okay. Live life naturally. Accept when you can, reject when you can, when you should. We don't have to accept everything in life. Moments come when you say reject. We are not like Gandhiji's, where he says, somebody hits you on one cheek and you offer another one. No. You have to take a fist and blow the head off.
Yeah. But I don't want to hurt anyone, so...
You have no choice. In many situations, Ramakrishna Paramhansa, he shared a beautiful story, and I like it so much. He was telling to his Shishya on non-violence that there was a rishi, and this rishi had a Shishya, and in his next life he became a cobra. And Cobra, before in his previous life as a Shishya, was taught non-violence. So it was in his being not to be violent. So in one village he was passing, children were throwing stones on it and his wood was bleeding. At the same time Swamiji was passing, oh, this is my Shishya. So Shishya was asked, why are you in such a condition? She says, Guruji, you taught me non-violence. Of course I taught you non-violence, he says. You don't have to bite them, but you could hiss, scare them away.
Yes.
Right? About anger also. No one can be free from anger. No one, no exception to it. But human beings as we are, we keep trying to fight against anger. That will never happen. It's God's given. God gave it to us for a reason, to correct ourselves and correct others. Right dose, right timing. You don't have to blow up and throw the flask on their head and say, no. Gently say, express your irritation that this is not right. You can't accept everything in life. Otherwise, imagine if your son or daughter keeps drinking, would you accept that?
No.
So, we have to take action sometime. We have to scream the hell out and say, don't do this ever again. There's nothing wrong with it. But the best part of the anger is when we make mistakes. Do you get angry on yourself for making mistakes?
Yes.
That's the best thing. So that you don't do it again.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Sharma.
Please give it to Chandra.
Better, sir. Please remain seated, sir.
I can sit and talk.
Of course. I've been doing that only. Okay.
It was a very illuminating evening for us with your counsel. I have an unorthodox question to you.
What is that, sir? Excuse me?
Unorthodox.
Okay.
Every human being has a left and a right brain. The left is supposed to be calculating, systematic, logical, and what have you, arithmetical. The right is expressive, emotional, evocative, humane, as you stressed, and so on. In civil service, we require a balance between left and the right. Not that we can change our brain left or right just like that, but there's both of them in every individual, male or human, male or female, both they have left and the right. The only thing is males have more of the left and less of the right, and ladies have more of the right than the left. Now in civil service, I notice, it's my personal conviction, that women IAS officers, women civil service officers have done extremely well, and they are generally able to deliver what is required. Even males also do, but the point here is I'm making a relative assessment. It's my personal conviction. Now, in civil service, if you would like to really do well, is it possible through meditation or for the matter any other solution which you will offer? You said not answer but solution, that's what you stressed. Any solution that we offer to make that kind of a balance by training the mind or training ourselves. Is it possible at all?
Yes, sir. It's very easy and it can happen in a very natural way through this particular meditation. I'll tell you what's so special about this meditation. You meditated just now. What I used was a technique of pranahuti. We send out the highest level of consciousness to all hearts. They perceive it. They also resonate with that condition. When you talk of right brain and left brain, yoga is all about unifying not only my lower self with the higher self, not only my Atman with Paramatman, but also my right brain with left brain. There are some exercises also. Many of these officers are familiar with the program we call Brighter Mind program. And there we teach children under 15 years of age certain exercises, which, the exercises become difficult after the year 15. I'll show you one exercise. See if you can do it. Raise your two fingers like this, left hand. Ab kijiye. Okay. Now do this also with the other hand. See? Yeah. Now switch them. Can you do it faster? No, see, you're doing this only. It should be no. Mrs. Sharma, two fingers, and these two, they like this rabbit ears, and these two fingers like this. Okay, now switch them. You can't. But children will be able to do it just like that. Right? Through brighter mind, by activating what we call bridging right and left brain. Bridging is important. So there is no excess. When Lord Krishna talks of moderation, not to become more emotional and not to become too logical, but the midway. And certain exercises, yogic exercises, pranayam helps us. Meditation helps to the maximum extent actually. When we do this Anulom Vilom, when we breathe with the right nostril, it activates left brain. When I close this and breathe with the left, my right brain is activated. When I do this consciously, it's a signal from the right brain. When I do this with the right, it's a signal from the left. But when I try to coordinate, it's something that happens in both the brains. The connection takes care of this coordination. Since the coordination is broken, there is no balance. That's why some people, if they have a stroke, some clot in the right part of the brain, left part of the brain will be paralyzed. But you try to do this meditation, I just guarantee you, sir, 2 to 3 months, and then continue onward. Immense transformation can happen, and you will wonder, how is this possible? I think we are done with all the questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Revered Daaji, for sharing your wisdom, sharing your knowledge with all of us. The meditation session that you conducted for us, that is like a prasadam on this day. We are very, very grateful to you. I'm also very thankful to all the officers and family members, spouses, for joining us on the Civil Services Day organized by the IS Association. We'll close the formal part of the event today with national anthem. Request everyone to kindly rise, but if you have any mobility challenge, please feel free to remain seated. Post this, we will all adjourn to the lawns for dinner. And while we were engrossed in this lecture and this meditation, there was a heavy spell of drizzle, but fortunately it has subsided now. We can go back to the lawns and enjoy. Please play the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे.
Thank you very much.